Have you ever felt like the 9 to 5 just ain't it? Well, then get you a 24/7 gig. Today, we're talking about quitting our jobs and working from home. This is the 5 Squad. Hello and welcome, everybody. This is episode 7 of the 5 Squad podcast. My name is Evan Andrews.
I'm Haley Andrews.
And we are a husband and wife duo here, just talking everything from family to entrepreneurship and things about our life.
Work-life balance.
Work-life balance. Yes, that is a lot of what we're actually going to talk about today. But we really want to talk about that 9 to 5 and getting the courage to quit and kind of take that next step in journey.
Like if that's for you.
If it might be for you, who knows? It's not for everybody. So
we'll get into that.
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
Okay, so
you go. You work from home. You did it. You quit the 9 to 5. I still have it.
I think the reason I want to start is because I've actually done the whole quit the 9 to 5, become your own entrepreneur twice in my life.
Yep.
I did it once recently. Actually, it was in our first stint of dating each other. If you remember, I was working at that sign shop for a long time, and then I quit and I started working on my next level graphics thing. That worked for like 6 months, and then I needed money, so I had to find another job.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
what's different this time?
Well, this time around, I think I was a little bit more prepared.
Support?
I had, more support. I had some, money fall into my lap from a few things that happened to afford me the foundation and baseline to really pursue actually.
Praise the Lord.
Growing
all
a
part
business.
of the plan.
But two, I think what I would attribute most of my success to is getting the actual business mentorship that I needed to take that next step in growing a business.
Because you were kind of at your capacity with what you believed your business could be, right? Until you.
Well, yeah,
you were like, this is it.
I was just coming from a solopreneur mindset. And even though you could still consider me somewhat of a solopreneur, I have things in place to where sometimes that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
You're
not just picking up random jobs here and there.
Exactly.
You know the
it's
formula behind it,
yeah.
and you're a little bit more aware of the steps.
Yeah, and when it's a little bit more calculated,
right.
It's a little bit more runs like a business, not just so much stepping on the next stone.
And I think that's the most debatable topic about entrepreneurship is you can just quit your job and then it's just free time and you can do whatever. No. But it's actually way harder to structure your time to be successful and structure your time on your own, because if the 9 to 5 you're following someone else's flow. So you have to figure out your own flow.
It's a routine.
Right.
Right. You wake up and you get dressed and you whatever, and then you're out the door and you're in your car and then you have your own routine while you're in the building, and then
but you have repeats. At the 9 to 5, you have a different kind of accountability, right? You have to go to get your paycheck. Your boss sees you, yada yada. So when you're working from home, what do you do when you don't want to get up or when you don't want to work?
That's the tough part, right? Because there's so many times where I know that the TV's in the other room.
You're like,
and it's
nobody will know.
I could take a 2-hour lunch today. Nobody
I can
would
just
really
do nothing.
Know. Yeah. I've done that on occasion,
right?
Where it's man, I did a lot of work yesterday, or started really early today, and it's okay, I'm going to sit here and have my lunch, and
it's good to
maybe I turn on a documentary or something,
sure.
And sit there. But sometimes, more often than not, actually, I find myself antsy to actually get back to work because I know what I'm doing right there isn't serving me.
You're in charge of your level of success, and you know that if you don't put in the work, then you're only hurting yourself in your business, and that's what you are building.
Right. So because we're just coming out of spring break and everything.
Don't remind me.
And whenever this airs, it probably won't be around that same time. But you've been home for the last week.
Yes.
And you've been pretty busy, not necessarily with work stuff or side hustle stuff or whatever, but just busy in general.
Yes.
How do you think you would fare if tomorrow you quit your job and you just started your side hustles or, really expanding on your jewelry, but whatever it is that you would decide to do, how do you think you would manage that time?
I think I actually think I'd be okay. I think the past couple of years, I've really worked on, like you said in a lot of the other videos, the self-help kind of journey. And I've really learned like what serves me and what doesn't. Being off for this entire week, I think that's why I woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, knowing that my time freedom is kind of gone. But being off this week, I realized where I can push myself, where I have, a little bit more time. It was really beneficial to, get up and get ready for the day, work out, go on a walk. And those things just don't get to happen when you have that 9 to 5. I mean, I work 7 to 3, but I get up at 5, I get home at 3 and have to pick up the kids by 3:40. And then it's just, motherhood
Homework,
till bed.
Dinner, and
So if I quit tomorrow, I'd miss my coworkers, but I just think the benefit of being able to do my own thing would really help my mental health.
What do you mean by your own thing?
Like my own, whatever it may be, like affiliate marketing, my jewelry business,
Okay.
all of those things those side hustles that would make up one big hustle, I guess. I think it would feel empowering to be able to pursue those things because those things bring me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
A lot of joy that kind of has been lost a little bit,
Yeah. I think for me, the thing that I need to work on better in the working from home life is taking a break when I know that I need it.
Preach.
And maybe it should be probably more smaller breaks rather than just like getting to a point where it's like, oh, I can take a 2-hour lunch or whatever.
Right.
Because
I mean, I don't think 2-hour anything is very beneficial, like.
Well, yeah, you just get out of it and it's like.
Yeah, it's like if you sit down and take your shoes off, you
But
might as
at
well
the
just
same
quit for the day.
time, doing some of the things that I do, like if for whatever reason I'm working on an editing project or whatever, like if you get out of that little thing that I'm doing, you get out of that flow.
It's
kind of
really hard to get
even
back.
if you're out of it for 5 minutes, it's hard to be like, okay, where was I, and get back into it. So I think that's what prevents me from, because I want to take the breaks. Let's not get anything twisted. I want to take the breaks where I can, but we get in our own heads even doing those little things.
Well, you guys know I follow Growth Day with Brendan Burchard, and actually this weekend, or during this week, I guess, he spoke about that high level of success. Those people have a serious structure around downtime and rest and like recharging, because they know that you can't be your best self if you don't find the time and structure. And I'm really working on getting that through your head but you had to get it out of my head. Remember, I would just stay up and work and work and work and work. I know, like thinking that, you're going to get things done, having more time, but you're not giving the quality to like your business or the tasks of your business if you're not finding the time. I mean, it doesn't matter what time. It doesn't have to be like noon lunch,
Right.
But you really got to find that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think trying to walk the dog more, like in the little spots, just taking them around the corner for a minute. And
I mean, it's super beneficial to get into fresh air.
Yeah.
They always say like movement is medicine, but like even movement outside is even better. And that's actually one thing that was the best about being off this week is I just didn't feel like I was stuck in a room like for forever, Just feeling that breeze reminds you that it's worth it.
It didn't feel too bad all week. It wasn't, there's a couple days.
I'll take the
latter part of this
way.
week, it got a little warmer, but it wasn't too bad.
I mean, we live in Texas,
being outside,
so we're used to the warm. It is what it is, right?
But overall, I mean, I think I'm still really 50-50 on the working from home. Because like for me, it's really hard to work from home when the house is full of people, right?
Yep.
Like just not necessarily because of the chatter and because of the things, but it's like sometimes when I see you guys just lounging or just, hanging out, it's like, oh, I want to do that too.
See, but I feel the opposite. When I see you working, I'm like, God, Lee, he's been here all day. I mean, he could have helped me out. So I see it too, but I get it.
Yeah. And that's why, I have the small desk at the church and everything, just to be able to get out of there when I need to and not be.
I think that's my biggest fear of leaving the 9 to 5 is like working from home, because I just don't.
It's like a cooped up thing.
Well, no,
like,
I don't attribute like productivity at home.
Being at home. Yeah.
Like all I see is
Lay in my
mess,
bed
clutter,
and,
things I need to do for this, that, and the other. So like that's actually one of the most daunting things, thinking about leaving the 9 to 5 and being there all day.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, it's still, like I said, it's still kind of a thing that I teeter with on, because I would love to have a nice office that was mine and go to it every day and
but baby steps.
And be able to turn it on and turn it off and like not bring work home and stuff like that. Cause you know how my Slack is when
you say that,
when you hear it downstairs, when I forget to turn off the sound and we're upstairs and you can hear it going off. Like even when those little things are happening, I'm getting better at not feeling the urge to like even pick up my phone, because I can pick it up right there and be like, oh, what was that? Because what I often get myself in trouble with is like, I'll check it, but then I don't have it there.
Right.
And I don't answer it right away.
And
then I forget about it.
For sure.
And then it goes by the wayside. And, it's a whole thing. But
that's funny you say that, like trying to not bring work home and go to an office. I think you have like this vision for yourself, and you have it, and you still want to work from home, and you still work 24/7. So I think you have a lot more than you give yourself credit for. Yeah. But it's easier to just wake up and go downstairs.
Well, there was something that I saw. I can't remember. It was talking about like making content, right? Like setting up your studio, and things like that. And you want to. I can't remember the exact phrase, and I might butcher this, but it's you don't want to. Is it work where you live or like?
I get
it's
that.
something like that where it's
that's
like
one thing I hate too. Like
it's like a brain thing.
Yeah.
That you can't. Like sometimes you don't know what mode you're in.
Right. But I also think it's a brain thing, like seeing the church office as like a positive. Sometimes I think because it's not exactly what you wanted from an office, I think sometimes that gets in your way.
Well,
but you know what I'm saying? Like I think if you were handed the office of your dreams and it was affordable to you, it would be like your dream, but you could look at the church or whatever as the dream each step. Yeah. They're all different steps in leaving the 9 to 5 and getting that.
I get it.
I
get it. And all
work
of that.
24/7 gig.
All of that is valid. So,
yeah.
But that brings us to the end of episode 7.
Don't go quitting your job if you're not ready.
Don't quit your job if you're not ready, because working from home isn't all it's cracked up to be.
So is it a dream?
All the time. I mean, it's weird. It's 50-50. I like it, and then some days I hate it. So I think life is a lot. I think a life is a lot like that, and we're just kind of rolling through it as we can. So
finding those little glimmers of positive.
If you watched today's episode, we appreciate it. Make sure you comment below. You can follow us on all our social channels in the comments below. Find it in the descriptions. But yeah, next week we're going to be just talking about Entrepreneurs Parents Edition.
Yep.
So parenting, entrepreneurship, how to juggle all of that. So if you're interested in our take on that,
come follow along.
Come follow along and find us next week. This has been the 5 Squad.